1, 2, 3, funk it.
Hi, I'm Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be sharing how I make my thumbnails for YouTube. Recently I've been receiving a lot of comments, emails, DMs talking about my thumbnails, and one comment in particular asked how I make my thumbnails. While I was trying to formulate my response, I realized that this would probably be just easier if I made a video, so hopefully this helps you all out, and I'm going to be showing you 4 different kinds of thumbnails that I make pretty frequently. However, from time to time I try different thumbnails, so these processes won't get you to make every single thumbnail, but they will help you with how I make most of my thumbnails. I wanted to start off by saying that I do use Final Cut Pro to make all of my thumbnails. That's what I use to edit my videos, but I'm sure that other movie editing softwares like iMovie can give you similar results, and my old thumbnails used to be made with Canva, and I know a lot of people still use Canva, so this is not the end-all be-all for thumbnails, but it's the program I personally use. The first type of thumbnail that I'm going to be sharing with you all is my most basic, and that is using a video image. So for this, the first thing that you need is a video clip of you posing for the thumbnail. This I normally do at the beginning or ending of the clip that I'm using to make my video. However, sometimes I will take separate modeling clips for the thumbnail. In this video, it's pretty simple. You just want to hit the pose that you want the thumbnail to be. So it could just be, you know, you smiling, you throwing up the peace signs, or it could be something more complicated. So once you have that video, you want to import it into the program. For me, this is Final Cut, and in Final Cut I actually have a separate movie setup for all of my thumbnails, so that way a lot of the effects I can easily transfer from one thumbnail to another. Then skim across the footage until you find the pose that you like. Once you have the pose that you like, you just want to simply save that image. You can do this by doing, I think it's File, Share, Save Current Frame. You will have to go through the process of adding Save Current Frame as a destination. This is very simple to do. There are lots of videos explaining it if you can't figure it out. And after you have the image saved, it'll give you like a notification saying that it is saved. Then you want to put that into your thumbnail timeline, and you can delete the video footage because you won't be needing that anymore. Now you have the basic image. Things are pretty simple from there. If there's any cropping that you need to do, go ahead and take care of that. After I have that done, I simply add text. I used to just use a basic title with the Keep On Trucking font in blue. I'm sure you remember that. There was like a whole year of those iconic thumbnails, I know. But recently I've switched over to using a downloaded text effect, which is like TKY, and it is text on the curve. This does not come with Final Cut. You do have to download it. Again, it's pretty simple. I won't be explaining that in this video. Then I use the Keep On Trucking font still, and I just use that same purple color with an outline. Outlining your text makes it pop so much more, and would honestly recommend that to everyone. Be sure that there's some kind of outline on your text so it's easy for people to read. That's the main thing with text. There's no point in putting text on your thumbnails if people can't read it. So be sure that you can read it. Also keep in mind that thumbnails are fairly small on YouTube, so the text needs to be a decent size in order to read it. The next thing I like to do is work with the color board. So this is making sure that all of your curves are good with exposure, saturation, contrast, and making sure that the color is pretty good. Generally, I like the image that my camera provides for me. I don't really normally have to do a lot of color corrections to it, but thumbnails are really important, so I always like to double check with the color board and see if there's any improvements that I can make. This can be pretty technical because it's a lot of photo editing, so if you're not super confident in your abilities to edit really well, what I did for a while to cheat at this step is simply type in Glow to Video Effects, pop that on, and then turn the glow down to where it looks reasonable. This just helps to brighten your image, but it doesn't do like too much to it. I would recommend actually using the color board feature if you can, but I understand it's a lot easier for beginners to just use the glow feature. Once you're done with your thumbnail, simply hover your little scroll bar on it and do the same process of file, share, current frame to save your thumbnail, the same way that you got the image earlier. Alright, the next thumbnail I'm going to be walking you through is the one where I use 3 different phone images. So those thumbnails are honestly the easiest. The first thing that you want to do is pick your photos that you're going to be using and apply a cohesive filter to them. Normally for this, I either use a Lightroom preset that I have or VSCO A6. I have a whole entire video about how I edit my Instagram pictures with Lightroom, so if you're interested in that, I'll link it in the eye. After that, it's fairly simple. You just import those into your timeline, stack them on top of each other, and then use a combination of the transform tool and the trim tool to get them to the right size, so that way they are about equal, unless if there's one photo that you want taking up more room than the other. One tip that I have for you all on this is to insert a color board below this, so that way you can see if you would have any black space on your YouTube thumbnail. If you can see the color board that you've put below it, that will show up as black on YouTube. So you want to make sure that you can't see any of that color board when you're on that, so that way your pictures are taking up the full thumbnail space on YouTube. Now, I do not normally save the color board with it for the thumbnail. I just get rid of it before saving that file. Once you've gotten all 3 images to fit in the right spot in your thumbnail, again, just add text like you did for the first one and do the file share and you're good to go. The next type of thumbnail that I make uses just one phone image. I use these sometimes if I don't have 3 photos that I can make a cohesive thumbnail with. For this, you want to copy and paste this photo into your timeline so you have it in there twice, and again stack them. Then on one of them you want to apply the flip feature, and then it will face the other way as the name suggests, and then you can line them up so it looks like a simple mirrored image of each other, and of course blow them up to the correct size using that color board as your guideline like I explained in the last one. Then once everything is to the right size, add your text and export it, and you have a thumbnail. This last one is a more complex thumbnail, and it is one that I've only recently started using, and I've only tried this one time, but I think it turned out pretty good. The first step is to make a background for this. You could either simply use a color board, or you could take one phone image and paste it 3 times to create the 3-image background like earlier. Then you're going to want to get your video image or images. So like for try-on hauls, I normally use more than one video image, and for other things I just use one video image. And you want to do the same file, save, current frame, so it's just the photo. Then you want to add a draw mask layer and do the little control points all around what you want the outline to be around. So in the particular example that I shared of my Chamberlain coffee review, I did the outline around me, and for try-on hauls, of course, it's around the outfit. So whatever you want the outline to be around, that's what you should do your control points around. To get the white line, all that you want to do is simply make a copy of that image that has the draw mask. So Control C and then Control V again to paste it on top. Now you want to click on the bottom layer and turn up the exposure all the way, so it's going to be white, and then you can mess around with the feather, and I believe it's called the drop line, to make it as thick and opaque as you want. If you do not want an outline around it, and then you do not have to do that step, you can finish after you have done your control points. Now that you have your masked image ready, you just want to copy that onto your background. So if you did the white outline, then you want to copy both layers onto the background. If you did not add the white line, then just the one image copied on top of the background will be just fine. Then finally, you want to add some text and you'll be done. Those are the 4 different types of thumbnails that I make the most, and I hope that this helped you sort of get some ideas on how you can up your thumbnail game. I'm very flattered that you all like my thumbnails. I do try and work pretty hard to make good thumbnails because I think it is a very important part of every single video. If you like this sort of tutorial, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you would like any more YouTube tutorials. I do have a video on how I edit my videos. Please keep in mind that it's really hard for me to go any more in depth than I did in that video because each video is truly unique in the way that I edit it, and that one just kind of gives a brief overview of the steps that I take and common effects that I use in my videos. And if you liked it, be sure to subscribe for more and click the bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!